Welcome to my presentation. Jean Piaget's theory of cognitive development stated that at different ages children pass through different stages of development, which is a continuous process beginning at birth and continuing throughout their life. Another important characteristic about his stage theory is that it is universal, meaning the stages will work for everyone in the world regardless of their differences. Piaget acknowledged that through a child's interactions with their surrounding environment, they are very involved with the construction of their own understanding and knowledge. Vygotsky, on the other hand, believed that children's knowledge of the social community affects their thinking. He stressed the role of the individual as a social being, influenced by the social world and particularly by their surrounding culture. He stated that the role of a teacher or the support of a more knowledgeable other is crucial to a child's cognitive development, and that a child learns from instruction. The everyday actions of teachers and influential others in school settings are reflections of what Piaget and Vygotsky theorized. Piaget's theory of moral development was focused around moral judgment. It explained heteronomous to autonomous moral thinking. In the autonomous stage, he believed that until the ages of 9 or 10, a child's morality is largely controlled by others who are authority figures in their lives. He believed that children saw rules as something that was decided for them. In the autonomous stage, this focused on children's moral development from the age of 10 and beyond. What he believed here was that children were internally making decisions for themselves. Lawrence Kohlberg, on the other hand, worked on a theory that explained how children develop both moral judgment and moral reasoning. Kohlberg's theory was divided into 3 levels, each with 2 steps, all of which carry on from the previous. With his theory, he extended Piaget's theory, proposing that moral development is a continuous process across the lifespan of a child. I believe it is important for teachers to have an understanding of the students' cognitive development so they're constantly aware of what stage their students are at and so they can understand their needs. If a teacher understands a child's level of development, they would then be aware of what the child is capable of doing without any help from others. If the student is at the next level and is starting to display what they could potentially be capable of doing with help, then the teacher can be more benefit to the child by assisting them with tasks. It is important for the teachers to have an understanding of moral development, because a teacher can serve as a powerfully positive or negative instrument by the way in which they treat their students and the model of behaviour they display to their students inside and out of the school setting. My knowledge of cognitive development theories would transfer into the classroom and my teaching cycle as follows. I would firstly evaluate what stage my students are at in terms of thinking, human intelligence and interaction. I would then plan my classes to align to what stage of development my students are at and whether I think they can advance to the next stage. I would then teach the students in line with what stage they are at, teaching them about interacting with the culture and their environment around them. I would then assess the students in terms of what cognitive stage they started at, how they developed and what stage they ended up at. My knowledge of moral development would transfer into the classroom and my teaching cycle as follows. I would evaluate my students in terms of their age and where they're at in terms of decision making and reasoning. In planning, the autonomous stage would mean rules and guidelines would need to be put in place whilst acting as an authority figure. If the students are now more autonomous, I would teach them whilst also letting them making decisions for themselves. Well aware of moral development, you'd know that in order to go to the next stage, the student would need to pass the previous. This would be evident throughout the previous 3 stages of the teaching cycle. This would determine their assessment. My example here relates to a grade 4 class where the children are 10 years old. At this stage, we're using concrete props and visual aids in order to assist the students in applying their knowledge to the situation. In science class, the teacher Rob is trying to represent the difference in length between a yard and a metre. After explaining it audibly to the children, they can't seem to grasp the concept. So John decides to get a metre length ruler and a yard length ruler, stands them both flat on a desk, and this then makes it clear to the students that a metre is longer. Children at this age struggle to apply knowledge which can't be physically seen. Bringing the rulers into the picture is a physical representation which makes it easy for the children to answer. Question 6 relates to a grade 3 class where the children are 8 years old. At this stage, the children are used to authoritative figures making the rules and decisions for them and controlling their decision making. Angela writes up a list of 10 important rules that the kids need to follow. She tells the kids that these are very important, hangs them up next to the blackboard for the kids to see and remember. As an authoritative figure for the kids, teacher Angela sets the rules which the kids find easy to follow, and these quickly become part of their normal routine.